Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of The Last Mile. Excited to be doing this with you guys. If you remember when I started, I said I was going to do this once a month, maybe, and then I was like, maybe every other week. But I decided let's do it every week because, like I said before, there are more last mile delivery apps out there than there are food delivery, shopping apps, and rideshare apps. So Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, then whatever. All of that space together, there's twice as many last mile delivery apps. Now, it was asked to me before, um, what is last mile delivery app though? Because and this is a good this is a good question because I don't think that necessarily my answer is correct. It's just what I call it. I don't think there is a correct answer. I think that maybe you can call all of it the last mile delivery space. It's just that when I'm dealing with places like Curry and Freight and stuff, they use terms like contact and last mile delivery because that's industry around like construction and other things and more B2B type stuff. But I have had people say to me, well, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, those are also last mile delivery apps. And I guess, sure, by definition, they are. I mean, there's nowhere written that the way refer to last mile um, as the other apps doesn't mean that they can't be referred to as well just for the food delivery platform. So I'm just talking about in this case. So each week we will be talking about last mile delivery apps, and I will be having guests this week. I have a thing with my son, so I have a hard stop in about an hour. So today's episode will be 1 hour. Actually, that is the target for all of the episodes, but I don't think we've done that yet. In fact, I know when I had Get Geezer on, we almost hit 2 hours. And him and I, even after the fact, we were backstage going, "Oh my gosh, what time just flew." So, um, but what I will say is today is an hour. I have to do something. It's a hard stop. So and I'm hoping on a guest dropping by that you guys all know probably in about a half hour, so about halfway through this. But not every week will there be a guest, and then some week there will be guests, and then some week there will be guests from I'm starting to line up um, CEOs or at least people in the marketing departments that have something to offer or in the engineering departments on last mile apps as I refer to last mile delivery apps. So let me just give you guys an example of a few. And again, this is just a few, just to kind of make my point though about how many more there are, because this isn't even all of them. So when I say last mile, I'm referring to Curry, Amazon Flex, Dispatch, Viho, Freight, Roadie, Bungie. Um, and then I'm using, see that thing that says camo? I'm using my phone as a camera. It's a trick that UDM taught me, or not a trick, it's an app he taught me about on how to not go spend $1,500 on a camera and have some pretty good quality that's much better than my camera on my laptop. And 100% he's right, because if you've seen the differences, I'm about to pay for the Camo app. This is the free version. And no, I have no sponsorship with them. I need to tell you guys like how good of a deal this is. So Camo is it's free as long as you allow that to be on there. And if you can tell, like the 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 video is much tighter than it is even on my laptop, which is a good computer. So yeah, you're looking at more like, is it DLSR or DSLR or whatever it is for cameras that a lot of those people use. And like Hannibal's camera, Hannibal has some very nice cameras that are better than this, clearly. But again, this is just an app. And it's like 30, I haven't looked in a minute, but I think it's like 39.99 a year, or it's like $60 for a lifetime. Now, just in comparison, a camera that can shoot this quality is about 1,100 to $1,200 and up to the multi thousands. So, you know, Camo. I have no sponsorship with them, but I mean, what a cool app. And you can try it out like I'm doing for free, like forever. I don't pay anything, and I just have to have the Camo stamp. Looking at have removed. But anyway, I can't look at my phone and see. I've been downloading apps for last mile services. So I've now stopped because there's still more I want to download, but I am either onboarded to all the ones on my phone, or I've already started the process to be onboarded. Because with some of them it can take a minute. But next week we'll get into a little more than Curry, especially since I won't be as limited on the time. But we'll get into a little more um, of the apps, and we'll talk about some of the other ones I work, like Dispatch, Freight. I'm on Bungie now. I'm active, but I got to be honest. Like, we'll talk about it next week. I really haven't seen anything, and I know that Gig Geezer sees Bungie orders, and then I know he had an issue with them. I know that some markets see tons of Bungie and don't see much Curry. So again, guys, very, very, very competitive space. But I guess my point that I was trying to make about, if you take all the food apps, the primaries, you got three of them, right? You got DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. If you take the rideshare, Uber and Lyft, if you take Instacart and even Shipt and whatever, and you put those all together, you there are at least 24 active last mile delivery apps, and there's posting boards where there's jobs for last mile. There's websites where you can get last mile work. There are so many places to go for this stuff, you guys. So why? Because this space is not slowing down. um I mean, me telling you, does that mean it's gonna get oversaturated? Other people telling you, does it mean it's gonna get oversaturated? I mean, everything gets oversaturated, but to be honest, like, look at Curry. A lot of people have been on waiting lists for a long time, but at the same time, I know a ton of people also who have gotten off the waiting list, and some of them had to wait a long, long time. Some of them did not, but some of them had to wait a long time. And so, yeah, I just, with that said, stick with the waiting list. I know that when I applied for freight, I was on a waiting list. It only took about 2 months to get off it here in Denver. But I mean, that I was a little late to the game on that one. So my advice is, get on all these apps. Next week, I'm going to, it might even be the background, or I might have some kind of screensaver that I'm using here or something, or maybe it'll be used in the intro, and it'll be a graphic showing all the apps I have active on my phone right now for just last mile, not anything to do with food, rideshare, or groceries. Not at all. Just last mile services, more B2B type service. And it's not just cargo vans, you guys. I drive an SUV, but like, I'm going to be having Dana back on the show. Dana, if you guys don't know Dana yet and you haven't met him, he's been on this show before, and another podcast with me as well. He lives in Boston. He's been doing Curry about as long as me, just about 2 years, which is longer than most Curry drivers. That's right, not long after they were really um, getting out in the open. But he drives a Prius. So, to the people thinking, "Oh, is this one of those cargo van videos?" Yep, it is. And it's about SUVs, and it's about pickup trucks, and it's about, do you have a rack on your pickup truck? It's about Priuses or cars that small. I'm not saying a Prius is small, but it is. I mean, it's kind of small, right? I mean, they don't sell Yugos anymore. Most of you guys probably don't even know the reference I just made and what a Yugo is. But there's a lot more money to be made in this space. We've talked about it, and we're going to keep talking about it every week. And luckily, I didn't want to have guests that are like planned, but there are a couple I've planned. Otherwise, again, starting next week, I will be having, on the weeks I have somebody on, they will be on with me, and it might be in the beginning, maybe, or maybe I'll do like an intro myself and talk about a couple things, and then bring the person on. And then once we go through about 10-15 minutes with just that person, every week I'm going to be putting a link in the show notes in the chat for all of you to join. Okay. um just join, and if you haven't done a live stream before, it's very simple. If you are working and you are on your phone, I do recommend that you kill the video, please, because that'll make the audio work. And otherwise, I think most of us have seen streams where people are glitching and whatnot. So if you are doing it from a mobile phone, and you're out doing gigs, and maybe you even have two phones, but you're using one for it, even if you're using the one only for the StreamYard thing, again, just kill the video, switch it to audio only so that that's all I ask if you're doing that. If you're able to um, be on a device with wireless and you have a phone and it's coming in good and you got a strong signal and you're at home or you're not multi-apping and using it with a bunch of other things, then feel free to use your phone too and feel free to use the video. I'm just looking to make sure that we keep the sound clear and that everybody can be heard. So like if you join, um, and especially if you're working, last thing I ask is that you just mute your mic when you're doing shops or whatever, so that the background noise isn't coming through. Other than that, I really do want everybody to join. I want people to join who work the other apps, the other last mile apps, or people to join who are interested in the apps we're talking about here, or people to join who have something to say about these apps or questions they want to ask. Any of that, it's absolutely going to be open to you. So I guess that what I'm saying is the format will be I'll come out, I'll do a little bit of an intro, and maybe the intro entails like what some of the things we're going to hit on in the episode. If I have a guest, I'll be introducing them at that point. And then after I have not like some of the live streams we do, but after 10, 15 minutes talking with the guest and what they're doing and what they're up to, then I'm going to open it up to everybody. And of course, I'm allowing the guests to stay as well. So it will become more of an open discussion for you guys to join, kind of how we do on Friday Driver Nation. So, but for last mile services, which is what this is about. That could mean that you're doing rideshare, or you're doing food delivery, and you're interested in the portion of this that I'm most interested in too, and that I hope all of you guys are, is that this weekly show is about one thing primarily. Okay. This is about, I mean, we're going to touch on a ton of things, but the primary focus of this show is to make the most money while you're out working. Period. This is not, hey, here's how to work this app the best. Here's how to work that app the best. Here's something we discovered with this, because even I partake in those type conversations. So and I have lives and videos like that, but this is about money. This one's about money. Like let's make some money, you know. Because I will tell you, there's a reason why I'm on both ride shares and have been doing this since 2015. There's a reason why I am active on all of the food deliveries, except for I do believe I was deactivated on Grubhub, but I'm not sure. I haven't used Grubhub in forever. But and not for a thing. I think it was done in that sweep where a lot of people got deactivated for no reason, and I just didn't bother reactivating. But I have Instacart, but then I also have like my dumpling and my other apps too. But then all these last miles, I'm starting to really pile them on. We'll get into the pile of them next week, but I want to go through some Curri stuff. I thought I loaded it in, so I'm going to have to load it in. But first, I'm going to say hi to everybody here in the chat. If you could do me a favor and smack the like on this so that it gets into the home feed and people see it and can join, that would be wonderful. Okay. Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? I was actually going to use I'm going to wait till you come on, man, because I know we talked about it, Brian, that you would this week wasn't good or something. I know you're recovering, but soon when you're ready, I want to have you on, and I got some screenshots of yours as well as some of mine that I've put in a folder because they're kind of good comparisons. But you're the person I want to do that one with. So when you're ready, you let me know when you want to come on. Um, Hey, what's up, man? I was just thinking about you today, Joe. How's Michigan? How's the weather? Getting better yet? And let's see. Sorry, guys, my computer's a little slow here, and my eyes are a little old. Um, what up, Tony? How are you? Uh, let's see who else is here. Hi, Marissa. How are you? Everybody, could you please congratulate Marissa? If you I hope I don't strike a bad chord with any of you guys, not Marissa, because this is good for her. But um, if any of you guys didn't file your taxes and you didn't file an extension, maybe you can put that in the chat right now. And Marissa is here, and maybe she could help you out on what to do now, because I don't know. But Marissa just finished doing all of her clients' taxes. She actually does that for a living. If any of you can believe that, that is what she does. She not only does her own taxes, which is like pulling teeth to me. I hate it. Hate it. But she does hundreds of other returns. So thank you, Marissa, for uh, being one of the people who take a bullet and do a job like that, 'cause, and who do it right. So, but anybody in the chat here who maybe didn't do anything, or if you know anybody who did, or if you have a question, even if you submitted and you have a question, she's in here. Ask away, because I probably won't be plugging that much longer than today. But again, it's a good day to say this. Taxes were due yesterday at midnight, or I guess technically midnight. It was due on Tuesday. So my guess is to say it's due on Tuesday, it's due at 12:15 or 11:59 p.m. But I everywhere I heard said midnight. Yeah, it has to be in by midnight. But at midnight, it actually becomes the next day, which would be Wednesday at midnight. So, or Wednesday at zero. I don't know how, but technically midnight is wrong. 11:59 is right. I know they said it probably just to make it easier on people, but I'm just being picky here. What's up, Kevin? How are you? Kevin, you were doing some were you I think you were the one who said that you were gonna start trying some curry. I know you'd been doing medical courier. Medical courier is coming up on this in 2 weeks. And that's a by the way, guys, that's a whole nother space that when I was naming apps and how many there are, um, there uh there's a lot of the medical ones too. You gotta be careful which ones you work with. I haven't done medical space at all. So maybe one of these weeks we can get Kevin on here because he has. And I have talked to quite a few people, obviously, who have done it. I've had them on before and stuff, and Hannibal, and I've had him on Beyond the Algorithm. But it would be interesting to have Kevin on because I know he's been kind of doing that. And again, like I was saying earlier, I'm interested to have all you guys on. Today, I have a hard stop in what is it? In 43 minutes. So at the top of the hour, I have to stop. I gotta handle something with my son. And I know you guys are laughing probably because a hard stop for me could mean like 20 minutes over. I mean, I really got a hard stop. But again, we also might have a guest joining us here. So I'm gonna load in a couple screenshots, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm totally meant to do this beforehand. It will not take long. But yeah, if you want to put any questions or any comments or anything in there, just give me 1 second. I'll load in just a few at a time, and then we'll talk about those, and then I'll load in the others. I'm sorry that those were not ready. Um, hope everybody's been good. I'm going to go through something here first that I want to show you with 3 screenshots. I think we talked about this last week when Gig Geezer was on. Maybe not actually, because we didn't really talk Curry with Gig Geezer. So maybe I just meant to and we didn't do it, but we're going to today. Um, I'm going to show you guys something because it's very important that you know this. If you're doing this is for Curry specific, you guys, and I'm also going to show you guys some changes that were made in the app, and why I like them, why or what I think of it, or why it matters, and some ways to look at a couple things. So it's kind of more of some basics today, and any questions you guys have. So fire away, please, if you have questions, and please smack that like button. Let's get this moved up the algorithm. But okay, number one, and before I start, summer. I mean, we're in spring. Summer's gonna be here. All of the last mile apps are picking up. I'm even seeing more freight. It's still not offers I would want to take, but I'm seeing more freight offers. So and not that's the only one. It's just that's another comparable one here in Denver. It's not close for me with Curry, but it does have a decent amount of offers. They're just not. I can get way better ones on Curry. And we all know how that goes. When that happens, you go with the way better ones, which is the point of this show. I'm trying to show you guys, instead of just food delivery apps, use these too. You might not be able to use them like full time every day to make all of your money, but I'll be showing you some things today, even some screenshots on what scheduleds can do, that really can help you. But let's look at this one first. Um, okay, so I don't have the screenshot of just this offer, but all that would be is just our system is I'm sorry, guys, I'm having trouble with I got my glasses that don't give me a there we go. That helps a little. Our system is still collecting driver responses. Okay, so this when I get the offer, the only thing missing from it's the same screen except for that wouldn't be there, right? So now what I've done, you can see a green button beneath it that says nothing. What that says is claim. I hit claim. This comes up and it tells me that other drivers are being collected because they use multiple things now. That's what we'll talk about a little bit today. But this is the round robin one. So this they also use a non-round robin. So it's unique. They also have introduced multi-stop a while back and some other things. But so what this is I've expressed interested. I hit I'm interested or I want it. And then now I'm sitting here. Now the next, so you sit there and it's processing, and pretty quickly this screen will come up. And if you read the top, it says you have shown interest in this delivery. You are marked as a backup. We might reach out to you again if a driver is still needed. So that yellow banner up there means that exactly what it says. And I mean, sometimes if something's been in the queue for a while and you go in and grab it, you might see that and maybe you didn't get it. But here's the tricky part. When one comes in and you see the banner and you hit it and you hit I'm interested and it says we're collecting drivers, every single time you will see this that you are marked as backup and that you've shown interest and are marked as a backup. But really, at least for me in my market, I mean, like, it probably varies, but at least in Denver, you see this every time you hit 'em interested. And then if you wait like a minute, then you now notice what happened. You got it. Now that literally happens, and I probably understated, that happens 99% of the time. If I do every 100 curries I do, 99 of them show me that I'm a backup. But then if you just wait a minute and just leave the app open, because this is why I'm bringing it up to you guys, because if you're new to Curry and you see that yellow banner come up, do not close the app. There is an 80 90 plus percent chance that is your order. It's just it's a I don't know if it's a hiccup in the system or what it is, but it's something that makes it the yellow banner pop up, making it appear you did not get the order. So most of the time you will find if you just leave the app open, you did. Now, if you close the app, um, and it says you got it, view, but you don't view it within a few minutes, it's going to release it and could even mark you with, it probably wouldn't because it only really hits you if you don't show up somewhere, they don't see you moving for a while. But I think they've even realized maybe this is an error, and I tell Curry team things about this kind of stuff all the time. Um, so they're aware and they're always working on things. But I just want you guys to know that because that does not mean you don't have the order. This is where it's going to get a little trickier because some of these. Uh, okay. So okay, I think it's these two. Hopefully. Because I want to show you guys another. This is something about scheduling, and this is important on the Curry app. So with scheduling, I got one more to upload. Sorry, guys. Okay, so where is it? Okay. Okay, so I hope these are the right ones. Again, I'm looking on very small. uh, without these aren't my greatest glasses. They just help with the computer. Parker to Littleton. Yeah. Okay. So this is a scheduled ride for the next morning. In my market, scheduled rides come in. Well, they can come in anytime, obviously. Scheduled means the next morning. Hot shot means that minute. And otherwise it says pick up after, deliver before, where you have a bigger spectrum so that maybe you can take multiple things. And as Bud Soda does, stack the crap out of them. But so when the scheduled ones come in, the real big batches for me in my market anyway, and I'm in Mountain Standard Time in Denver, are between like 4 and maybe 6, 7 PM. It used to go later, but I think since for some reason, since construction's kicking again and since, daylight hours are longer, for some reason, they're coming back a little earlier. So that seems to let's just say 4 to 7 PM Mountain Time. That's when I see, uh, um, about probably about 90% of the scheduled availability for the next day. And with scheduled, you gotta be careful because if you take a scheduled, it's not so everything with Curry is fully transparent. You see everything. And I'm going to be talking about when I say that, I'm even going to show you some of the things that I've wanted added, have been added now. And I'm glad that I talked to the team about these things because they're very important things and they're things I get asked a lot. But on this one, okay, so when I see 10 schedule or when I see the first 2, 3 schedules come in, I have to go, okay, wait a minute. Am I do okay, that's pretty good. Do I want it? Or do I roll the dice and go, it's Wednesday night, Thursday's usually a big delivery morning. There's usually about 10 to 12 in the queue. Should I wait and see if something better comes? So there is that kind of system, and please understand and unassign, at least today we're talking about Curry. Next week we're going to be talking about 2 or 3 other apps, not Curry so much, that I've been doing, at least 2, but that are last mile. But with the Curry app, do not unassign. If you do say, "Yeah, I'll take that," and then an hour later, something 3 times the pay for half the distance comes in, and it's at the same time, but not the same location, you can't do it. Because when they say scheduled 7 AM for the next morning, you need to be there at 7 AM to get that. So if you pick up 2 7 AMs at different parts of town, you cannot stack like that. The only ways you can stack are if you pick up after 7, 8, 9, 10 AM, whatever they use, and deliver before 2:30 PM. On those, you can stack whatever you want because that could be your second pickup in the morning. Or the other way you can stack is like I'm going to show you. So on this specific day of what I'm going to show you here, um, I saw a really good offer, but it was for a distance, and the 2 days prior, I had done some long curry runs, so I was kinda looking for, "Man, is there something good in town gonna come up for schedules?" Because I don't wanna start off with a long schedule tomorrow. It's been a long week, and then it was getting down to, "Oh, no, man." But then the super center, because I mean, I got like 8 Sherman Williams that I go to on a regular and pick up from and take B2B usually, sometimes B2C, but I would literally say that used to be about 20% of the time it was to consumer, not to business. And now it's probably about 2% of the time to consumer. So this Curry literally is primarily B2B. You guys, you're taking from Sherman Williams often to another Sherman Williams. You're just driving one to the next. So, but what I did end up having to do is really watch the Parker. So after I passed up on the one offer and noticed that a wave wasn't coming in, I was like, okay, I see a couple in the Parker one, which is driven dad territory and driven mom territory and driven family territory. But whenever I have to go down there, I try and stack because I know how much weight I can carry in my car with paint because that's paint. I know the paint center. So I see this come up. Um, and I'm thinking, okay, Parker to Littleton in the morning, like at 7 AM, 7 AM, when if you can get there right then, pick up quick, load it up, you can probably beat a good sized portion of traffic, but it's where will it leave you? In this case, it's going to leave me in Littleton somewhere around 7:30, 7:45. That's kind of not a place that I want to be, even though that pays pretty good. I mean, this is only, what is this? 270-ish, 270, or no, sorry. Yeah, 272 pounds of paint. So that's about that's about four or five, 5 gallon, um, Home Depot 5 gallon barrels. So just to put it into perspective, that much weight, 252 pounds, or 272 pounds, sorry, is about that. But was this enough? It was maybe, because it's still a great way to start the day, right? But I was like, I don't wanna take it yet because I wanna see if I can stack one, and I was still waiting to see if something else big was coming through. And then about a minute behind this one came in this one, and, when I switch over, notice that it still will say 7 a.m. sharp, and it still will say Parker 801134. That the only thing I've ever done in Parker 80134 is Sherman-Williams. There are other things down there, but the pinpoint actually it shows a radius on Curri, but it's actually gotten pretty accurate. So when it drops that pin, I know it's Sherman-Williams as well. So this one's a Sherman-Williams, and then a minute later, this pops in. Now, Parker, same place to Castle Pines. Castle Pines is 13 miles from Parker, to this drop off. And then Castle Pines to this drop off isn't now 27 miles because they're actually in the same direction. So now, or to Littleton, I mean, sorry. So now if I'm in Castle Pines to Littleton, I'm looking at about 15 miles. So it still ends up being about the 27 miles of this one. But now I'm able to go in this one, 7 a.m., this one, 7 a.m. Now I'm able to go in at 7 a.m. and grab this order, 272 pounds, and this order of 100, 110, 55. So 106, 265 pounds. So I am willing to do about 650 pounds in my vehicle. I can do more. I mean, my vehicle can handle more, but I don't like to push it. I don't like to feel it dragging or lagging. And I also don't ever want anything tipping. So that's about my, I could have stacked another one if it was another maybe couple 100 pounds, and that would have been about tops. But I've never been able to really triple stack something. So maybe once I did do something, but I can't even remember. But these two alone, so now 6087. I mean, the changes, it's weird that it's on there. It throws you a bit, but 6087 and 49. So let's just say this one's 60, take away the 87. We'll add it to this one and just kind of down roll it even a bit. So we got 60 and 50. $110 to drive 13 miles, 15 miles. Takes me minutes to unload. This whole thing took me probably an hour and 10 minutes from getting to the location, putting all the paint in, getting to stop one, unloading, stop two, unloading. At that point, I am an hour 10 in, and I'm at $110 for the day. And yeah, and so this is where I wanted to show you guys. So this is that same day. This is those same ones. So as you can see, there's in the request, this is in the app, you'll see a bunch of requests, right? So um, all of the requests here, like there would be like 10 more. You could just scroll down, some days like 15, 20 more. Some days there might only be one or two. But so I'm just showing you guys that I cleared the board here and that this is how it looked. So I went to one, and then if I touch one of those, it takes me to one of these screens where I say accept, and then I go back and then to this, and then I click the bottom one, hit accept, and I see this, and I hit accept, and then I got them both, and now I'm making that money for that. And you guys, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's some pretty amazing money. Um, but that's just me. I don't know. I can't say, maybe to you guys it's not. I do think that a lot of people are um I do think that a lot of people who have gotten onto Curry in the last 6 months were making some money, but not really understanding. And as of like the last month, it's been really nice because I've been talking to a lot of people who now got on and were really happy. They finally got off the waiting list, but now they've been like, dude, my market's starting to get really good. And I'm like, yeah, that's enjoy, man. That's what I've been telling you. So yeah, I am loading in. If they're gonna let me load a couple multiples here, will that? Yeah, okay. And while I do that, I'm gonna check the chat here with you guys. Let me see. Let's see, Kevin. Yes, I was trying to get on Curry. Haven't been onboarded. Oh, I see. I thought you said you were gonna try Curri this week, that I know you've been doing the medical, and I thought you said, I might take maybe it wasn't you. I thought it was though, but you said you were gonna take a break from it and try give Curri a try this week. So I thought you were already onboarded by that comment. What up, Bud Soda? How you doing? Um, let's see. Do S do another weekend of runs? Wait, what? Oh, does Curry do another weekend or do another of weekend runs? I might be a little lost there, bro. I'm sorry, Joe. Um, does Curry Are you just asking if hot shots and all that and schedules and all that can be available on the weekends? Yes. Are scheduled usually available on the weekends? No, I don't see them too much. And I will say this, on Saturdays and Sundays, I don't see, like, Friday night and Saturday night, I don't see scheduleds come in very often. It's very rare. Usually, if they are, they're like the ones that I did to Vegas. Okay. Like, that's going to be a really long one that they're putting the scheduled out there because that needs to be done. It's something big. But if it's something just like on my day to day type normal Curry app work, no, it doesn't. It you don't see the schedules on Saturday and Sunday morning, or Friday and Saturday nights that would apply to Saturday and Sunday morning. And I kind of like that, to be honest, because it's the weekend. There are some things that come through, but I do other things too, and um, the weekdays are so good that that's fine with me. I prefer those. But what will come through on the weekends, you also won't see a lot of, like I said, the ones that are pick up after 8, 9, or 10, or whatever they decide. Sometimes I've seen 10:30, and then the deliver by is always 2:30, and that, no matter what market you're in, East Coast, whatever, Denver, where I am, California, wherever you are, they all will be delivered by 2:30. That's a Curry standard. Um, if you have ever seen anything different, it is a standard now. Like, they want, because if it's not delivered by 2:30, they need time to figure that out, because the customer isn't paying for a full hot shot when they do that. They're just paying for a same day delivery. But when they pay for a hot shot, now this is what you would see on the weekends, is hot shot. And that just means you'll see an order come through saying, boom, needs to be delivered right now. And it's like, do you want to take it? So you see it on a Saturday, come in at any time. Late, I mean, usually not in the evenings and stuff, but like late morning, early afternoon, I do, at least in my market. I see a few Curries for sure, where I even sometimes they start decent, but they get pretty high because, like me, a lot of Curry drivers aren't working. So it'll like raise pretty quick. And again, I got to keep saying this, you guys, Curry is 100% transparent. There's nothing, this is what I ask of every app, and I ask nothing more. You show me the full transparency. Don't penalize me for anything having to do with an acceptance rate, and we're cool. You know, um, that's really all I can ask. That's all any of us should be able to ask. Send me the link. I'd like to. Bud Soda, I have a hard stop today in 22 minutes to go. I've got to do something with my son. So literally I got to pull the plug, but come back next week because I do have a guest that's joining, but he's only joining for 10 or 15, or him and I will be in the 10-15 minutes, probably in the beginning, but he might stick around, but you can join, and I won't be so locked into time next week. um the courier company I work for, there's no app. Yeah, okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, there's, like Kevin's saying here, I contact the dispatcher and let them know when I'm available. So there's that way. There's the way through the apps, like I'm talking about, like with Curry, where they're sent through the app, and then there's boards online where you can go check, just like truck drivers do for like jobs in last mile space, for even with an SUV or a Prius or whatever. And then there's websites that do last mile services that Hannibal and I have talked about on Beyond the Algorithm. And then there is um, a ton of last mile apps. So, like I was saying earlier, I mean, there's 2 to 3 times as many apps in the last mile delivery space as rideshare, food delivery, and grocery delivery. All companies, all put together. There's 2 to 3 times as many last mile delivery apps. Um, Let me see. That time of day, Parker to Littleton isn't bad. Exactly. That's what I was saying. But Littleton back to Parker. Well, see, I don't live in Parker, but so KSL, what I'm doing is I'm actually going out for the day. That's just when I see those schedules, I like that because that means, okay, here's where I'm starting my day. And like, as you saw, the first hour of my day, at the end of the first hour of my day, after I leave the Parker location, I will have earned $110 and I will be in Littleton, then willing to do either the dumpling app or I mean, if I want to, I can multi-app. I can turn on, you can turn on Spark, you can turn on food services, you can turn on rideshare. You could sit there and watch for Curry, like others will come through. But what I'm saying is I don't care that I'm in Littleton because I go all over I mean, I went to Vegas for Curry. Okay, I go all I will. I've been to Cheyenne 3 times for Curry. I go to Fort Collins. I don't go to Colorado Springs because that is a waste of time, and that traffic is a nightmare 24 hours a day. Anybody that lives in Colorado can understand what I'm saying there. Leaving Denver, going to the Springs, or coming back, there's just always a log jam that you wouldn't believe. Right after about the Air Force Academy, after the Springs, all the way up to Denver, it's just a nightmare. But yeah, I agree with you. So I'm not going back to Parker at that point. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking for more work. And again, I base it like everybody does. I don't want to go get stuck in tons of traffic. Let me see. Do a lot of weekend. Do I do a lot of weekend runs? Yeah, I mean, no, not a lot. I mean, not, and if you compared it to like my weekdays, but at the same time, Joe, I'm not on my apps on the weekend like going, okay, I need work. I mean, some days I do go out and do app work. And on those days on the weekend, those are probably the only times where really I might not do any curry because they might, like I said, they might not come through or they might be way too long. And I'm just not looking to do that on the weekend. But the bottom line is, if you actually did the comparison of what I do weekend to weekdays, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, take out the Vegas trip or however you want to do some of the longer ones that I have pulled, but like just the average that I do in a weekend sometimes could be zero often. And weekdays is a ton. So, I mean, it's 95% plus of the work I do on the Curry app is on Monday through Friday. Sometimes Saturday afternoon, or even occasional Sunday. But like I said, sometimes it's there and sometimes the number's very appealing. But I got to say that that I don't want to I sometimes I'm with my son, sometimes I'm doing other things. Might be with Marissa. I don't know. I mean, I might be snowboarding, I might be in the back country. I do other things, so I can't. I just don't take them, and that's why I said sometimes I'm even out of town and I see them. I'm like, damn. Like, sometimes I even think I wish I was there because I would take that. So sometimes I'm out of area and it'll still show to me too. Is Curry in Houston? Yes, Curry is in Houston. I do believe that there is a waiting list, but in the show notes of this is a link. It's an affiliate link I've had for about 2 years now. It doesn't pay me, it doesn't pay you. Nobody gets paid, but it's a tracking link where if you get waitlisted, and then if not a day or two, it's going to take a little bit, but if a month, 2 months, 3 months in, you still weren't off the wait list, then you could email me, Steve at Rideshare Rodeo, and I could check if you use that link where you're at on the list, kind of not an exact number or anything that's going to give you exacts, but I could give you an idea. Hey, it looks like I'm going to have a co-host for the final 15 minutes. And one last time, you guys, at the top of the hour, I have a hard stop. I gotta go because I have to help my son out with something. But let me bring on my guest here. And what's up?
Hey, can you? How you
There.
doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Pretty good. I don't think I had a conversation with you. I had a bit of a basement leaking situation,
Oh
so
no.
that's why you see this camera the way it is right now. Is I'm using a laptop camera,
It's funny you're
and
saying that. I was just in the beginning, I was talking about how this camera that I'm using is better than obviously my laptop, but it's nothing like Hannibal's. And then here you come in here.
nope, this is the regular laptop camera. The sound is from the laptop. I'm still trying to figure out some wires that were wet and drying them. So it's a whole thing. But
That's
yeah, look,
horrible, man.
but things
Does
are
your basement flood on the regular?
no. This is an issue with an apartment. So
Okay.
something that was not is not normal. So it's just one of those
Okay.
things that happens. But
Like they left
er,
town and left the sink
actually,
on or the tub
yeah,
on or something.
yeah, it's actually it's something in the bathroom where it was a leak in some kind of plumbing issue, and it came down on top of my stuff. So, but
Yeah.
the camera, all my main equipment is working fine. It's just the small stuff, but I'll be fine.
Nice, nice. Hey Rodney, what's up? I'm just kind of going through some things here, and then I'm going to bring up. I'm glad Hannibal's here for the last 15 minutes because I got a couple things that I want to see if he notices that are updates that I suggested to Curry. A couple of them that I absolutely love. I want to see if he might notice them right out of the gate. Um, but yeah, thank you, Ken. Hit that like button, please do that. They need to get me off the waiting list, Joe. Joe, I got to be honest. Like, I had somebody, who was it? Chris, Real Rideshare Stories, and the rideshare guy. Chris is on the wait list for Buffalo, and you guys know I try and help all of you out, and the Curry. I try and tell at least the Curry team where I know some drivers who, like, hey, in Detroit, I know 3 or 4 that are on the list. And yes, I will. And when they say, hey, we need some Detroit drivers, I will say, hey, take them because they do. Here's why they like my opinion, because they know I'm sending them drivers that aren't going to screw up. So that's kind of a big deal. It's not that I have any pull to get you activated, but I wanted to point out about Chris. Chris asked me the other day, "Hey man, can you get me off the wait list in Buffalo?" Chris, everybody's on the wait list. Are people on the wait list? How long have you been on it? He's like 14 months. And that is now the longest I know of. He has waited longer than anybody. 14 months is a long time. But I mean, I have heard of other people too, and then I know people like Brian here in Pittsburgh. He was on the wait list, but I don't think he was on the wait list nearly as long as other Pittsburgh people because Curry took him off. They wanted some drivers. So Kevin says, "What's up, Uncle Han?" Kevin or Joe
Good.
says, "What's up?"
Gotta jump into your your page here. I just jumped onto the StreamYard, but
Dispatcher called me at midnight Friday for my $750 hotshot run 2 weeks ago. So pickup was at 2 8. Yeah, that's another weekend thing for sure. Is that some, I mean, look at that. He's talking about an amazing offer, and I don't even know the miles yet, or if maybe it wasn't amazing. Maybe you have a story why it sucked, but I'm imagining it was great. But that's another thing about weekends is that some rare times, like the Vegas one I got, came in at 2 a.m. I happened to get up at like 5 a.m. randomly just for a minute. So I didn't even hear my phone, but I picked it up and I saw that there was a Curry offer in there. I knew nobody had really seen it because it was Saturday morning. I grabbed it, still available. But sometimes the weekend ones do come in late. So that's fair. That's true. Yeah, see, so I can say this for certain. The Pittsburgh market also has people who have almost everybody who, if you don't have a cargo van in Pittsburgh, I know most people wait 6 months plus at least to get off. So you got off because you were in a live stream and the team was here. And sometimes the team just pops in. And like I was saying earlier, I do have a couple episodes coming up with the team. So, so Hannibal, I was showing some other things here earlier about just some basics that I think you already know, but let me show you here. Oh, I'm going to be doing a thing, banger of the week. It might be a long haul and a banger, and I'll explain why, or it might just be a short one and why it was the banger. This one's very apparent why it was the banger. Here's the banger from the week.
can't complain about that.
Dude, if you can't, again, guys, 20 items times 11 pounds. So I need to mention this, you guys. Xander, if you guys know, just Xander, y'all, is his handle on YouTube. If you know Xander, he's in LA. He's in the LA market in a vehicle, and he got off the Curry waiting list for being in one of these lives after 2 months. Now, the Curry waiting list in LA is about a year as well. So this one, 6 miles, 20 at 11, 10 at 10. Xander once asked me, Steve, how are you getting all those in there? How do you get that many items in your SUV? Because he has an SUV, or I think he has a RAV4 too. We have the same vehicle. So he was like, how do you get that? How do you, let's pull it up one more time. How do you get 30 items of paint into there? I'm like, let me distinguish that. Sometimes that doesn't, it's really weird how that works, you guys, because really what you're doing. So think of a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket, one of those orange ones. That is about 45 to 55 pounds of commercial grade paint, each one of those. So what is this? 300 pounds? 300 pounds, that's going to be 6 5-gallon things of paint. So it's not what you, I know it sounds like a ton, and even those numbers look big, but I think it just means 20 items were used to make the one of the colors of the paint. Because I've even had ones that said 40 at 12, and then they had different swatches of paint colors on the top too, so it didn't even make sense. So it must be just the paints that they use to make what you're going to take. I just go by total weight. And
Right.
remember, and just it uses a general rule of thumb that the orange gallons, 5-gallon things from Home Depot, that's about 50 pounds of paint. So just do it that way. That's the easiest way. But like this, let me see if on this one it says, I don't have my good glasses on, but okay. On this one, the reason I had this one today, so I'm looking at the notes here. Okay, I'm glad they put where to pick up and and what I need to do or whatever. But where are my details about what it is?
Right.
I mean, I first of all, Hannibal probably knows this too. Both of us know because we're on the app. This isn't paint. It's not paint. We know that because even the other paint companies, but Sherwin-Williams always has like the other ways I've been showing you. They always look that way. So this isn't paint, but what are you getting? I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. But that's kind of starting to get pushed out. This is a new thing too. This is what it's not new, but to a lot of people, it might be new. And to a lot of people, it might not even be in your market yet. So like I showed you with some of the other ones, there's a round robin. But this, when it says claim delivery, like I didn't take this. This is not a good offer. And like this might go up to twice its price over a half hour. Because the one thing about Curri, because they're showing full transparency and there's no guessing games and crap like some of these other apps, they will push them up quicker because the drivers aren't stupid and we're all on the same page. None of us want a bad offer.
Yeah,
So
the value jumps in seconds, basically.
yeah,
Well, in seconds.
especially if it's because I mean, like Curri doesn't control what the customer's pricing at. So if the customer puts it out, Curri just has a deal on how fast they interval it up.
Yeah, like an auction, right? Like hey,
Yeah,
who wants this job at $20? And then no one says anything. All
yeah,
right, 25, and they'll keep going. And then that's where the strategy is. Where do you think you should jump in? And because sometimes you can feel, hey man, maybe I could let this ride a little longer to get more money,
100.
but then that could bite you in the ass because someone could grab it before you. So that's a bit of a strategy as well. But in terms of the speed, it's much faster than when you see in like on a DoorDash where they'll pass around $3 for a while
Yeah.
to get someone to take it.
Yeah, because they have infinite number of people, or $2. They have infinite number of people to take it. So somebody will. It's how many times do they want to pass it around? But Curri the other thing about Curri is after a Curri offer shows for you, until somebody takes it, even as it goes up in price or whatever, it's going to be in your requests. Like it's going to be in this. You're going to have, and like sometimes that request can have like 30 in it.
Right.
So, and like these are maybe I marked interested or whatever, but like bottom line is when you get this one, if it's not in your market or if it is where it says claim delivery, and if you're not noticing, it's actually a purple bar complete at the bottom. Why it's green for part is because it's ticking down. This is not a round robin offer. This is for you. If you take it, it's yours right there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what that one is. But here's something. I think this is one of the ones that. Okay, do you notice something on this one that you haven't seen, Hannibal?
Not that I could think of. I mean, it says requirements, but in terms of that, yeah. Is that
No,
the is
because
that
I mean, again, because of what it is. I told them when Curry started, their pitch was, hey, you don't ever have to load or unload. I don't
That's true.
mind loading and unloading, but
Right.
now they're making the customers put, do they have to load or unload? Now,
Right.
you're always, me personally, even if it didn't say that, I'm always, because it never has said that till now. I always load and unload. I don't care. I don't even ask for help. Don't
Right.
care. It's good money. I
It's,
don't care.
it's
But
speed is, and also like speeds the process because if you everyone's looking around looking at what you're supposed to do. I mean, usually a lot of times I didn't have to load. But sometimes it's my vehicle. Like, let me just get this stuff out
yeah,
instead of maybe someone I don't know unloading because you never know what happens. But I never had an issue. But you just know it's like same thing as food delivery. Someone's coming into the car, like, let me give you the stuff, and don't worry, it's
yeah.
coming. But yeah, that's good. More information is always a good thing when you're out there on the road.
And again, I've had people ask me, "Hey, I'm not sure. The only reason I don't want to sign up for Curry is because I don't want to load and unload." And this was part of the thing I took to the team. So what now with it saying it, if it doesn't say that is required, then there is somebody there who all you have to do is ask and they will unload it
Right,
and it will be loaded too. So
right.
now they actually that I think that always kind of existed. If you just walked in and asked, they'd help. Almost every
And
B2B
this
would
is
help.
yeah, this is not what's the one thing that a lot of people talk about in terms of food delivery? Oh, refilling or
Yeah.
putting drinks in cups. This is not no way. We don't have time for that. The people at the
Yeah.
business don't have time for that. So it'll never be an argument or awkward
Right.
conversation
Because
if you
say
ask
that,
someone.
it means even if they would never say no because they're a warehouse or they do this
Yeah,
anyway,
they got
but
someone
they
around.
also definitely don't wanna if somebody's going, "Hey, can you guys unload it?" They definitely now don't want you doing it because they know you're gonna
Because
be slow, you might drop it.
yeah,
Clearly, you're not gonna be good at it. So,
they
okay,
always will
we'll do
pull
it.
some guy out of anywhere,
Mhm.
or even the person themselves you talk to will
Yeah.
do it. It's
Yeah.
not the same. 'Cause maybe I'm wondering, Steve, is that something that you like? I don't want to deal with the back and forth conversation of do you want to take this out or not? But you will never have, or at least it's a low chance that you'll have like a disagreement.
And I mean, part of that's because it's B2B.
Exactly. That's
If
what
it
I say.
was
Yeah.
B2C, I mean, a customer can be like, "Dude, I'm not unloading that. I paid for it. I paid for the delivery. I paid for the paint. You bring it in." I
Yeah.
mean,
Exactly.
that's the part of the problem too with all the and that's a different problem that just always will exist with the apps. That's not something that can even be solved. But with this, you're doing B2B. So of course they don't care. This is what they do for a living. They move
Exactly.
things around. So then there was this one too. Um I pointed this one out because A, it had the load and unload, but then it also has says notes, van.
I've seen that. I've seen a
Okay,
few of
and
them.
I was gonna say, I think Hannibal can attest to this too. I get this one every once in a while. It's not even that rare. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's not that rare. It'll
Yeah.
say requirements van. Do never get worried by that. If it sent it to you, it fits. I
At
have
least
never. It's not like Roadie or something. If I've never gotten to a Curry order and it's like, hey, that doesn't fit in my car. They actually care. They logistically care. They know what they're doing and they will not send it to you unless it fits. So even if somebody said van, that was part of the problem that the team showed me too is that look, if we start putting in all these fields, people are going to check van. I want a van for that price. And it's like, why you don't need a van? We could fit that in a Prius.
right.
So then Curry just takes it upon themselves to go, okay, he checked van, but so that's why when I've said, why don't you kind of force some fields? Part of it's that if they do, everybody's going to select the most luxury thing, and then they're
Yeah.
going to expect that. I selected van for that price. No, you selected van. You put van that you wanted that, but this fits into multiple different cars. So Curry's going to send it out with whoever.
Yeah.
It's
As long as the job is done and
right.
the materials are transported safely and quickly, I don't think
Yeah.
they care much. But I understand, like as a business owner, you're probably trying to find the best or at least the most efficient way in your mind, right? You
Right.
think, well, I think a van will take care of this. I don't want any problems. But if it can go into your SUV, you're good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing about this is I already know this is a Sherman-Williams, and in fact, take out the ones, but this is 400 pounds of paint. I take 650 is, like I said earlier, is about my max. I can do about 800 in my car probably, but it
Yeah.
drags and lags a bit. I don't like it. So I do up to about 600, 650. This is 400, so absolutely it fits in my SUV. I know this would fit in Dana's Prius. I
Definitely.
mean, again, it's not as, it says this is where it can be confusing. If you're new to the app and you see van and you see, whoa, 25, 11 pounds, 15, 11 pounds, you're thinking boxes and oh my gosh, how was all this going to go? No, this is paint. This is going to be 8 5-gallon buckets. They're going to load up real easy. I mean, yeah, you're carrying some weight, and whatnot. And sometimes you get to pre-build houses and there's no driveway and you might have to step up a notch. But again, this isn't my favorite offer in the world, but this is another good one. $4 a mile. And this isn't a schedule. This is just one that comes up in the day. I think, what is it, 10:15 in the morning when this one came in. So
Nice.
$4 a mile to me, I'll do this all day, man. 22 miles. I mean, Hannibal knows you get there, loading up 8 of those takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, it
Then
does
you're
take
on the
your time.
road, 22 miles. I mean, when you're doing 22 miles, you're obviously able to optimize some highway miles. So you optimize those. So really maybe a half hour, maybe for Hannibal an hour. I don't know. In New York City, 22 miles might take like 2
Oh,
days. I don't know.
that would take it'll be quite a journey.
But I know
Um,
that a lot of your offers also don't really put you take you into the city. It's more that they take you away.
Away from the city, so like
Yeah.
upstate or Jersey or something where they have some time once you get out of the busy area. So, oh, I see some of the guys in the chat letting you know it's a hard stop. It's 5:01.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I got one last
But
thing, you guys, and then I am gonna hard stop. But this is the
yeah,
last one I did want to share with you guys because this is new too. I had not seen this ever, and this showed up last week. It's not showing up on all of them, and so I literally asked the guy because he said he does all at the drop off location because I took it. But if you read the bold part, you must check in the front desk, paper slip upon pickup, must be signed by customer and at drop off. Failure to do so, fewer gigs. I don't get these kind of things from Curri, so it's not like I did something wrong.
right,
So I was wondering, did these guys have a bad experience? And no, this ended up being what was called it said when I was done with this one, it said thank you for delivering a Curri white glove order. I don't know what it meant. The pay wasn't anything that different. So that's a question I'm going to be asking them next time I talk to them. But the one thing I will say is that they did take away the portion of the app where it says customer signature and type out the name and then take your picture. Now it's just take your picture and then take a picture of the receipt that's supposed to be signed, which it should be because almost every one I did, it's unless it was a construction site where you can find the GC, it's almost every time you're not going to get in touch with the person that you need to get it signed, and you're just
right.
taking a picture and dropping it. So, and
Gotcha.
paint never goes outside, you guys. But other than that, yeah, I do have a hard stop. So I want to thank Hannibal for coming by.
No
Thank
problem.
you
No
for
problem.
dropping in. I got my Pedro shirt on.
Yeah,
Uh,
looking good, man.
I'm also warm. We have a cold day, so threw it on at
Actually, it's
4.
pretty cold over here too. We had that summer weather last week, but yeah, it's kind of coming back to normal, I guess, in terms of the end, spring starting type thing. But definitely.
But yeah, thank you for joining me, Hannibal. And you guys come back next week. Like I said, after I have the guest, I'm just gonna every week I'm gonna put up the link because come in next week. Going to be talking about some other apps, Freight, Dispatch, VHO, and I
Oh,
want to
nice.
talk about Bungee, which I'm on now, but I have not seen any offers that I would accept. I mean, and I'm not dissing it either. I've only seen 2 orders, so it's
Bungie is good in other places.
right.
I've seen some good
Again,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it could just
I
be where
point,
you
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like Gig Geezer was having some luck with Bungie, but then he had like I think he stopped using the platform even.
Yeah, like suspended or there's some issue. Yeah, you check out his
Yeah,
video.
so
Yeah,
something happened there, but I mean, like again, each app to their own. But we'll be talking about some other ones next week. And thanks, Hannibal, for dropping by. I got to go get my son, you guys. So have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, I guess.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Take care, you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Get on Curri, get on Freight, get on all these apps. Peace.